I'm excited about this one. Is she a paradox, a guardian, a judge, or something else entirely? Let's chat about the Sphinx. Most well-known version of the Sphinx story comes from the myth of Oedipus. This monstrous being with the body of a lion, the wings of an eagle, and the head of a woman was sent by Hera as a divine punishment to King Laius of Thebes. Laius's crimes was severe for the time. He had violated the sacred laws of hospitality by abducting and abusing Chrysippus, the son of King Pelops. And in the classic eye for an eye Greek retribution, the gods cursed his bloodline, dooming him to be slain by his own son. The Sphinx became an instrument of this divine punishment, terrorizing Thebes by devouring anyone who could not answer her riddles. She acted as a threshold guardian, preventing the city from moving forward until someone worthy could solve her puzzle. Laius, desperate to get rid of this curse, offered the throne and his sister's hand in marriage to anyone who could defeat the Sphinx. That's when Oedipus comes in. Her first riddle was, what walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? Oedipus answered, man, who crawls as a baby, walks on 2 legs as an adult, and uses a cane in old age. In complete disbelief, she posed a second question. There are 2 sisters. One gives birth to the other, and she in turns gives birth to the first. Who are they? And again, Oedipus correctly answers, saying night and day. Defeated, the Sphinx succumbed to despair. In some versions, she throws herself off her pedestal and into a cliff, and in others, she devours herself completely. With her destruction, Oedipus unknowingly completely seals his tragic fate, fulfilling the prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his own mother. Now, unlike the Egyptian Sphinx, who is a male guardian figure representing a patriarchal authority, the Greek Sphinx is a female force of chaos, destruction, and hidden knowledge. She's not merely a monster. She is a gatekeeper who determines who may live and who will die. Her presence embodies the paradox of feminine power, both nurturing but also devastating, much like the goddesses of fate in many other mythologies, like Morai, Nyx, or even Oshun, who embodies both retribution and creation. The Greek Sphinx exists in this intersection of wisdom and destruction, serving as a force of fate rather than free will. The irony here of the myth is that while Oedipus's knowledge allows him to pass her trial, it does not save him. Instead, it leads to his ruin. In this way, the Sphinx represents an unavoidable confrontation with destiny, where solving the riddle does not mean escaping the consequences. As I was painting this, I had a lot of time to reflect, and I began to see the Sphinx as a really symbolic embodiment of the different phases of womanhood. First, girlhood, the maiden, which is a stage of curiosity, potential, and innocence. The Sphinx, as a keeper of knowledge, exists in a liminal space before the riddle is answered, before the fall into experience, much like the transition from childhood to adulthood. In womanhood, we meet the mother and the creator. This phase represents mastery, responsibility, and the power of choice. The Sphinx, in her role as a judge, determines who may move forward and who must die. She embodies both control and expansion, an energy that is contained, yet radiates outwards. Lastly, you have aging and death, or the crone and the destroyer. Ultimately, the Sphinx is a harbinger of fate, deciding who will pass and who will not. She mirrors the inevitability of endings, echoing the wisdom that comes with age and the sacrifices made in the pursuit of knowledge. While working on this, I also found myself reading Jean Cocteau's play, The Inferno Machine. In this, he reimagines the Sphinx's story. In his telling, she's no longer wishing to kill. Instead, she longs for someone who can answer her riddles so that she may finally end her own suffering. She manifests Oedipus, not as an enemy to be defeated, but as a fated lover who will grant her release. There is a part where she's speaking to Anubis, the god of death, and I quote, "I've been miserable for 2 days, Anubis, hoping this would end. Now I am going to make a wish, and if it comes true, I shall never have to mount this pedestal again, never kill again. I wish for a young man to come and climb the hill, a fearless man. I shall fall in love with him, and he will answer the riddle as if he were my equal. And when he gives the answer, I shall die. So as you can see, in this version, the Sphinx does not merely test Oedipus, she adores him. She sees him as a young, beautiful, and oblivious to his own doom. Instead of destroying him, she guides him towards his fate. She gives him the answers, ensuring he moves forward into tragedy. In doing so, she transforms from an authoritative judge into a figure of self-sacrifice. This act encapsulates the tension between creation and destruction. The Sphinx creates Oedipus' future by unlocking his path, yet at the same moment, she erases herself. Her role mirrors the way many women have often been the bearers of the truth at great personal cost, offering wisdom that propels others forward while leaving them behind. In the Inferno Machine, the Sphinx and Oedipus make love before she dies. He refused to thank her, and she just disappears into silence. Cocteau's version reframes the Sphinx not as an adversary, but as a tragic feminine force, one that understands the costs of knowledge, gives it anyway, and vanishes. So, to me, the myth of the Sphinx is one of thresholds between knowledge and ignorance, fate and free will, creation and destruction. Across interpretations, she remains a figure of power, yet of also surrender. Whether as an impassible judge or a creature of yearning, she embodies the paradox of the feminine, the giver of knowledge, the keeper of mystery, the one who both guards and guides. In the end, the Sphinx does not simply perish, she dissolves into the myth itself, lingering in the echoes of unanswered questions. To confront her is to confront the inevitable, the moment before transformation, the cost of wisdom. Like the riddle, she is a cycle, an eternal force that, though defeated, is never gone.